Settled for the 1999 NHRA Winston Trail, and it is Top Fuel Eliminator. Tony Schumacher comes to this race with the lead and can clinch it here. Weather plays a pivotal role in the success of any drag racing operation. You can talk about it, but there's not a whole lot you can do about it. This day here at Houston Raceway Park, we have absolutely magnificent weather conditions. Working with us this weekend, as usual, Bill Stevens and Alan Reinhardt. Shelley Anderson joining me here in the booth. Hi, everybody. I'm Dave McClellan. How about that win by Tony Schumacher?
Well, Tony Schumacher won first round. Joe Amato lost first round. We could see the champ be crowned here in Houston and not even have to worry about Pomona.
Here's the way they match up in round number 2 racing here at the Matco Tools Supernationals. An important run. All of them are now for Tony Schumacher. He goes against Doug Herbert. Gary Selsey challenges Tim Gibson. The other side of the ladder finds Larry Dixon against Kenny Bernstein, and the run that's on the racetrack right now, Bob Vandergriff against Doug Coletta.
Well, on paper, Doug Coletta seems to have the advantage. He ran a 4:58 in the first round. Vandergriff smoked the tires, but don't count Ray Alley out. They qualified the number 2 spot. He ran a 4:56 to qualify. This could be a great side-by-side race, and I see Doug going A to B. It's just what Vandergriff will do.
Lest anybody think that just because Connie is one of the senior citizens, if you will, of Top Fuel Racing, he may have forgotten how to work on a race car. He has been tuning both Top Fuel dragsters of the Coletta team and doing an outstanding job, not only for his son Scott, but also here for Doug Coletta, his nephew, that is in the top 10 in the Winston points chase. Bob Vandergriff rounds out the top 10 coming in to this, the Matco Tools Supernationals. Great race. 4:59 for Vandergriff to a 4:56. Look at the reaction times. Almost 400ths of a second for Vandergriff, and that was enough to give him a 7,000th of a second margin of victory.
Both drivers did a good job, but, I mean, Doug Coletta, you never see him late. He was a little late for Doug Coletta, but he's really not late for some of the Top Fuel drivers. That's an average light for some of them. But for Doug, that isn't a great light for him. He lost cylinders. He lost power. That's why he lost.
It was
Vandergriff did great.
Close at the finish. Watch from our aerial view. As you see on the right-hand side of your screen, Doug Coletta fighting it a bit. Bob Vandergriff a little bit straighter down the lane may have helped him. There was how close it was when they crossed the finish line, which is only 1,320 feet away from the starting line. Next pair of cars, Tony Schu and Doug Herbert. Down now to the starting line. Let's go to Bill Stevens.
I spoke to a bunch of crew chiefs here before the second round. They don't think they have as much racetrack as they had in the first round. We'll still see some pretty stout numbers, but they say the sun that's been on the track for the past couple of hours has decreased the amount of bite out there. He thinks, just about everybody says they've softened up their tune-up. Let's go to Alan Reinhardt.
Bob Vandergriff, that's what the fans pay to see. You're 59 to his 56.
Oh, that's a good drag race. You know, what can we say? We're glad to go into round 3, and hopefully we can make this our first win.
Remember, we had a first-time winner just a week ago.
I know. Bob Vandergriff has been oh so close, has run so hard and so well. And with Ray Alley serving as his crew chief, this could be the day for the Jerseys machine. For Tony Schumacher, I noted as we were looking at the ladders, every run now is all important. He needs to put as much distance between himself and Joe Amato as he possibly can here in Houston, because with only one race left, he'd like to clinch it, and I guess mathematically it is possible.
And Doug Herbert would like to move up into the number 2 spot. He'd like to pass Joe Amato in points, and he can do that with 2 good races left.
Olson is tuning that Top Fuel car to perfection. 4:58, big speed numbers, not at all backing away from it. 325 miles an hour. He is earning his Winston championship in style. You see Herbert going up in smoke. That's kind of a shock.
This is unbelievable. You know, they've made it to the semifinals in the last 4 races, the last 5 including this one. They've made it there 4 times with only 1 second-round loss. It's consistency that's put them in the #1 spot, and they're showing it again today.
Certainly are, and those big speed numbers indicative that they're not trying to detune too much. You got to have some horsepower. Let's go down to Alan Reinhardt.
Tony Schumacher was celebrating before the car was even parked. He could taste that first Winston championship, and huge numbers. The 458's okay, the 325, wow.
Absolutely. That's what Dan's been doing to everybody all year. You know, right before this run, everyone said, you know, Herbert's lucky. I said, well, I'll trade the luck for Olsen any day of the week, man. He has done such a great job. Backside, 1 more round, and we're going to lock this thing up. We need to focus right here, get the job done.
Yeah, they never count points, right, Mac?
Oh, nobody counts points. It's just you're racing round by round, right? All right, the celebration is starting, and it's going to be a big one if he can win that Winston title. We'll be right back. The 3rd annual NHRA Matco Tools Supernationals presented by Racing Champions is being brought to you by the more than 2,700 AutoZone stores across America. AutoZone, the best parts in auto parts. Welcome back to Houston. Have you ever wondered who are the top 50 athletes? Well, you can find out. Of the century, well, number 12 is Carl Lewis. And that's coming up Friday, but look behind Carl Lewis. You'll see problems for Kenny Bernstein. His car unable to stop after the burnout. The race was to have been between Kenny Bernstein and Larry Dixon. And Bernstein couldn't stop. What a shocker.
You never see that car fail to make a run. That is unbelievable. Larry Dixon's got to be breathing a big sign of relief. That is, Larry Dixon's car is the most consistent this weekend by far, but Kenny Bernstein's not an easy race car. He had lane choice with a 456, and now Larry's got a single.
Well, we were telling you about Carl Lewis. You can watch it Friday night. Coming up on ESPN, 10:30 p.m. Eastern Time. Now, concentrate on Larry Dixon and this Miller Lite car. Wow. Wheels up off the starting line. 457 at 312. What did they say? He ranged from a 457 to a 462. Remarkable consistency all weekend. Here's Bill Stevens.
Well, as you can imagine, the Bud King team a little down in the mouth right now. Asked Lee Beard what happened. He says he doesn't know exactly, just that Kenny told him the car will not back up. That just about does it for them today.
Tough break indeed. Sometimes those reversers will give you fits.
Yeah, or the clutch pack's set a little tight and they can't get it in reverse. The RPMs are up. Sometimes if you lean on the injector on the butterflies, it'll lower the RPMs and you can get it in reverse.
As you can see, Kenny Bernstein down at the far end of the track, getting his helmet and all the fire protection gear that they are required to wear. Off and standing by is Alan Reinhardt, and Alan will find out exactly what the problems was with Kenny. Alan?
And obviously dejected Kenny Bernstein. KB, I can't remember the last time this car had a mechanical problem like that.
Well, it's been a while, obviously. Yeah, it was a clutch problem. Obviously, I had no clutch. I had no neutral, I should say. I couldn't get it to go in back at all in reverse, and it wasn't going to happen no matter what took place out there. It's a mechanical problem inside the bell housing somewhere, and boy, we hate losing like that. But, you know, I keep saying it. The guys are working hard, and, you know, tough way to lose a race today with Budweiser, Mac 2 Pro on, but, hey, it's been one of those years.
And still the sportsman. He got off the racetrack so that Larry could get a clean run.
You bet. You don't just push the pedal in to disengage the clutch?
No, you push the pedal in and you got a reverser level, and you actually have to feel for neutral. What happened was either the clutch pack, something in the clutch was too tight. There was no neutral. I had that happen before. It's a helpless feeling. I mean, he did a good job getting it off the track, because sometimes you'll try and force it in reverse, then you can't get it forward and you mess up the other car, and that shows his professionalism.
Let's go down again with Alan Reinhardt.
Well, Larry, that's 2 for 2 against the red car, but I know you didn't expect that.
No, that was the last thing. I mean, when the 2 beer cars go up against each other, there's a lot of pressure, and took a lot of pressure off. I'm just thankful for the whole Miller Lite team. We got the win in.
Got the win and got a great time. Up on the starting line, it's Gary Scelzi and Tim Gibson. Gibson untested as a result of his bye in the first round when Eddie Hill unable to answer the call. Gibson smokes the tires as Gary Scelzi continues to click them off. Remember, in round 1, he went a 4:51. Here in round number 2 racing, he went 4:55 at 3:20. Our aerial camera shows you the problems on the left side of the screen.
Gibson had to he smoked the tires, he pedaled, he did a good job, but went back up in smoke, got back in it again, give it up. Gary crossed the finish line, but Gary did a great job keeping it in the center of the groove. It was a great run.
320 miles an hour plus for Gary Scelzi as he heads to the semifinals. We've got more racing when we return to Houston.